Tonight on the Comic Book Girl 19 show, Comic Book Girl exposes a disturbing secret that rocks the internet.
I have a dark secret.
What is it?
Also, Marvel executives in hot water as controversial statements causes fan outrage.
Sure, he pissed off a lot of people on the internet.
What'd he say?
Then, it's the cat that wants to be a dog.
Oh my gosh.
We're getting rid of beans now.
It's all tonight on...
Today on the show, I have a dark secret that I'm going to reveal publicly to the internet.
Oh my gosh, dark secret.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time for your dark secret.
Yeah, it's time.
Ugh, I couldn't stand waiting past that intro sequence. What is it?
My dark secret, robot.
Is that you're really a man. I knew it. 4 years. I was waiting.
No, it's a little less shocking than that, actually.
Oh.
Kind of took the wind out of me now. My dark secret doesn't seem that exciting anymore.
So this is going to be a disappointing video.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, just reveal it. What is it?
My dark secret is I haven't been reading Marvel comics in a long while.
What?
And I'm not sure when I'm going to go back. Or if.
But you're Comic Book Girl 19. It's in your name. You can't not be reading Marvel comics.
Well, actually I can. I can do whatever I want.
But you're the host of Marvel's off-the-rack hit show on Go90 hit platform.
It's not even on the platform anymore.
Well, hold on now. I'm riveted on my seat. Please tell me why you decided to stop reading Marvel Comics.
Well, it's a complex situation. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of ins and outs. And I'm bringing all of this up because there is reportedly a sales slump over at Marvel. It's been in the news. So that's why we're bringing this up today, because I'm a part of that sales slump.
You are?
Yeah.
You haven't been buying comics.
No, I have not been giving Marvel my money for like months and months and months and months. It hasn't been a full year yet, but it's like getting there quick. And just to give you an idea of how bad the sales slump is Marvel puts out about 50 titles every month. And almost 50% of those titles were selling 20,000 copies and under. And if you're selling 20,000 copies or under, then you might get canceled.
Well, what did Marvel say for the reason of the sales slump?
Well, the VP of sales actually came back with a little bit of a controversial answer. He pissed off a lot of people on the internet.
What'd he say?
He was trying to push the blame of the sales slump onto all of the new female and minority diversity characters that they've been pushing over the past couple of years. He said a lot of those titles just really aren't selling well, and that people don't want diversity in comics.
Oh, is that true?
A lot of people attacked this guy for being an asshole on the internet. Like, people were really bummed about his statements. And I don't think this guy's trying to be an asshole. I think that he literally was just looking at the sales of comics, and a lot of these new ones that they've put out aren't selling. So they're like, oh, instead of looking at themselves, and this is what everybody does on a personal level and on a company level, instead of looking at yourself and what you're doing wrong and your shitty sales practices, you're like, oh, this must be the problem, because you want to blame it on something else, because people never want to take responsibility for their actions.
Oh, is that true?
I think that this is a complicated problem, and I think that there's a lot of reasons for the sales slump. But first, let me tell you about all the shenanigans that Marvel's been up to in the past couple years for those of you who haven't actively been reading these comics. Marvelous! In 2015, Marvel launched the all-new, all-different Marvel. It's like a new relaunch, okay? And in this new relaunch, you had this push where you had a lot more female-led titles. Like, Marvel didn't have any female titles for like a while there, okay? It was like really embarrassing. And then all of a sudden, we've had this renaissance of female-led titles. It's been like really fun. You have Miss Marvel. She is a Muslim girl. You've got, the Mighty Thor is now Jane Foster. All new Wolverine. Wolverine died in Death of Wolverine, so now Laura has taken up the mantle. Before All New, All Different, there was She-Hulk, but that's like another female title. You also have Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes. He's Mexican now. You have the all new, all different Avengers, where Falcon has been Captain America for a while. Miles Morales, where he's in the 616 after Secret Wars, so Miles Morales is now hanging out. Black Spider-Man. Recently, we have had Totally Awesome Hulk, so we have an Asian Hulk now. And we've also had a new Iron Man, although I think her name's Iron Heart or something, and she's a black girl.
I see what you're saying. Diversity is clearly bad all the time, and Marvel being in the dumpster proves it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some people on the internet probably agree with that, but
That's what you said.
that's what the VP of sales is saying. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't think that's true, okay? Because, look, here's the deal, all right? Like, there is no hard and fast rule for when it's okay and not okay to gender swap or swap whatever character, okay? It's a case-by-case basis. Some things work, some things don't work.
So you read all of those and they were all bad, right?
Well, no, I didn't read all of them. I only picked up some of them, and I liked quite a few of them. For example, you know, when they rebooted The Mighty Thor, and now it's Jane Foster, and she has cancer, and, like, Thor has become unworthy, so, like, she's worthy. She picks up the hammer. Totally makes sense, you know? He who's worthy of the power of Thor, you know? Okay, it's, like, makes sense. I'm into it. And then even, like, Laura taking on the mantle of Wolverine. I mean, they made it, like, I felt like it wasn't cheap and lame. Like, she's been her own character in her own right for a long time. Personally, I love Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider. Like, it's set in LA, and he's got, like, this Challenger that he runs around with fire tires. He's, like, not in a stupid motorcycle anymore, and he has, like, this skull helmet, and it, like, looks way cooler, and, like, dude, this was such a great revamp. Like, this, I'm like, yes, okay. And again, it's, like, anyone can be, you know, Ghost Rider. Like, there's been several Ghost Riders, so it's like, that's totally fine. And also, I mean, Miss Marvel's been huge. Like, everybody loves Miss Marvel. She's really sweet. Like, the way she's written is amazing. G. Willow Wilson, the writer, is a Muslim girl herself. So, I mean, surprise when you have somebody writing a comic about their own, you know, situation. It's really good and authentic. So yeah, so there's been a lot of stuff that I'm totally down with.
What about Iron Man as a girl? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, Robot. I haven't read it. You might be right. You might be wrong.
But they reverse swapped every character. Everyone that was a boy is a girl.
I know, it's all upside down, you know? What's going on?
Wait a minute, you've swapped too. You used to have pink hair and now it's green.
Yeah, well, it's all new, all different.
That's bad too, I hate it.
Yeah, well, they've done a lot of mix-ups. There's been a lot of mix-ups, which is surprising to me because I would think that if you're trying to get new readers from the movies, you would want, you know, to have those kind of characters and the roles that they're in the comic books. Not that you should mirror back and forth, but it was really odd to me that they decided to do this, because it seems like, oh, if I'm coming from the theater and I want to read something about Thor, and then you pick it up and it's, you know, Jane Foster, I don't think that they're gonna want to read that necessarily, because they don't know. They're like, Natalie Portman, what is she doing here?
Natalie Portman is Thor?
Yeah, well, Jane Foster in the comic books is a lot more well-rounded and interesting than Jane Foster in the movies.
Yeah, she's a snooze fest.
Yeah, it's boring. She was so bored she quit.
Oh, she's out?
Yeah, oh yeah, she's out.
So now Thor's a swinging single like me?
Yeah, sure. He's unworthy, just like you.
Hey!
Like that one, Space Brain? And not only, I feel like, are they alienating potential new readers, I feel like they're also alienating their core readers, because now you've, like, mixed everyone up, and, like, you're just, like, messes up the book you were reading, and then every time you turn around, there's some new shit, and it's just like, okay, can I just read my fucking X-Men comics? Like, please? Can you quit fucking them up for me?
So, Comic Book Girl, are you saying that the reason for the sales slump is because they flopped and swapped all of their characters?
That's what the internet wants to make it about, and that's what the VP of sales wants to make it about, okay? But that's not the reason why I stopped reading Marvel comics.
Oh, it's not?
No. The reason why I have stopped reading Marvel comics, wait for it, is because of Marvel's shitty business practices that have given me event fatigue and crossover-itis, okay? Like, I just can't deal.
Oh, I don't know what those are.
Okay, event fatigue. Let's get into event fatigue real quick, because this is the real problem, all right, VP of sales. It's not your women, it's not your minority characters, it's you, all right? It's you, Disney. It's you, Marvel.
Ooh, snap.
Snap. Because, okay, here's the deal. Within comic books, right, you have this long-form continuity that's going on, this fictional continuity. And, like, every now and then they'll have these big events where these different titles will cross over, you know, tie in together, and they'll have, like, these different characters, you know, battling. And sometimes it goes across all of the titles. Sometimes it only is, like, involves the Spider titles. Sometimes it only involves the X titles, you know? It's like, there's all sorts of different, sometimes you'll just have, like, Guardians of the Galaxy and the X-Men crossover, you know? And then it'll leave the other titles alone. But they're constantly, lately, they've been doing a lot of these crossovers, a lot of these events. We had AVX in 2012. That led into the big reboot of Marvel Now, which came after DC's New 52, because DC rebooted, and then Marvel's like, oh, well, we got our reboot, because they have the eternal pissing contest going on. And then after that, it's like you had Age of Ultron, Infinity, Original Sin, Death of Wolverine, Axis, Spider-Verse, the Guardians, X-Men, Black Portal crossover, Secret Wars, All New, All Different, which was another huge reboot after Secret Wars. And Secret Wars is what fucking killed it for me, okay? Because, like, Secret Wars was the worst.
Why?
They literally got every single title within the Marvel Universe involved in this big, dumb, world-ending event to where they can reboot their continuity again, only a few years after they just kind of did a reboot. They destroyed the whole world and then, like, restarted it, and then now you have, like, Miles Morales, who is in a separate universe. Now he's been pulled into 616 from the Secret Wars event. And then after that, you had Civil War II, the Spider-Clone Conspiracy, the Inhumans versus X-Men, you had the Death of X, you have Marvel Now 2.0, which is like another relaunch of a relaunch, and then you had like Death of X, and now you're having Resurrection, and it's just like, I don't fucking care, man. It's just like way too much.
Wow, that's a lot of events.
So many events. One of the good things that came out of Secret Wars was A-Force, where they had this awesome team of females led by She-Hulk, and you had Medusa, and you had Dazzler. Like, Dazzler's my girl. She's like my super favorite. And that was kind of like one of the last Marvel comics I was reading. And then when they canceled that, that was really it. Because, like, Secret Wars, like, really bummed me out, but then canceling A-Force was like the last straw. And I get it, it wasn't selling great, okay, I get it, but like, I love that title so much. And it seems like every 6 months they're constantly rebooting and they're doing new #1s and like they're constantly shifting teams around. And I don't want to get emotionally invested and financially invested in stories that go nowhere. That like bums me out. And you cancel Dazzler's title, you know, it's like,
Event fatigue.
Crossover-itis, Sunday. Too many fucking events. This Sunday, all your titles will be in one event and it'll disrupt all of the storylines that you're reading. Because you care so much about Secret Wars. Over the past few years, there's been this new business model that I've noticed that has taken over at both DC and Marvel.
What is it?
New #1 issues of new titles like spike in sales, okay? A lot. If you look at a new #1, they sell like twice as much or more even. I mean, like a lot more sometimes. And then the second issue, there's a big drop off, and the third issue, there's another drop off, and then it like kind of settles, you know, for a while, or it dies off and it just like people don't latch onto it. And it got so crazy with this new #1 situations going on that like Squirrel Girl had 2 #1 issues in 1 year in 2015. There was like 2 #1 issues of Squirrel Girl, and even like they made a joke about it on their cover. They're like, oh, it's only our second #1 this year, you know, because they were like, this is ridiculous.
So are you saying that when Disney got a hold, they started coming along and forcing that to happen more often?
Well, I think that Disney is a big company and they want to be very financially efficient, and they see that these new #1 issues are like selling more and they want to like get people involved. And they also feel like you have all these people out there who are interested in reading comics for the first time. And so when they go to a comic book store, if you see a new #1, like, oh, I can hop onto this. I'm new. This is a #1 issue. Okay, I have somewhere to start, because traditionally, throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, if a comic was doing well, they would just keep it going, like the numbering going on it, to where you'd get up to like, you know, X-Men 200, you know, Spider-Man 300, and so it would just keep going, and that can be really scary for new readers, because if you go in and you're like, oh, you know, like X-Men number 520, like what happened with the last 500? Oh, I'm never gonna understand all this, you know, it's intimidating.
Yeah, I would have no idea.
But it's really not though. It's one of those things where it's like, just dive in, you know, start swimming. We got Wikipedia now, you know, if you need some backlog of information, if you don't understand something, it's fine.
Yeah, but from a sales point of view, if they're selling 1 million copies of #1 issues and then it drops down to only 200,000 on the second issue, well,
Yeah.
that kind of totally makes it worth it.
I guess so. It makes it worth it for a while, but it's a trick that is going to alienate your long-term readers. And it's good for speculation people who are stupid anyways, and it's alienating for people like me who want to actually be there, not to buy a new #1 issue because I want to make money off of it, but because I want to have a relationship with this character. You know, I want to find out what they're up to. I want to see what they've been doing. I want to see where they're going. You know, I want to have this relationship. That's why I've been really frustrated lately, is because I'll pick up a title that I really love, and then in 6 months to a year, it's like, it's over. It's gone. You
Like
know?
what?
Pretty much all the comics that I've fallen in love with have been canceled after 6 to 12 issues, you know? And it's just like,
Can you name some examples?
well, I was really disappointed when Wolverine the X-Men was canceled. This one actually went on for longer than a year. Jason Aaron was on the X-Men for a couple of years, and I loved it so much, and I felt like there was so much stuff that we never got to explore. But then, you know, we had Secret Wars, whatever the fuck happened. I can't even remember at this point. There's been so many events. It's like, I don't know what cut that one off, but it pissed me off. She-Hulk, I loved She-Hulk. I love this title so much. That one got canceled. Like I said, A-Force was like the last straw for me. Young Avengers, I loved Young Avengers. That got canceled. This new business model is really not taking into account what made these characters special, what made them, you know, pop culture icons. It's like, it's a relationship, you know, and I like having this long-term relationship going on where it's like, like that's what's so special about it. It's a living continuity that is constantly changing and evolving through time. That's really special. That's like super special. And with all these events going on, you know, I am afraid to emotionally commit to a title because it's like, it's gonna end. It's gonna be over before I know it. I'm afraid to fall in love, and I'm just gonna get my feelings hurt.
You're afraid to fall in love.
Yeah, because, man, Marvel's just love them and leave them, you know? It's the attitude they got, you know? Hit them for all they're worth, and then get the fuck out, you know? And then hit them with another thing, and then get the fuck out. And then just like, Marvel's acting like a little bit of a fuckboy. And so is DC. And I get it, because you know what? Comics have always been a little hinky on the profits, okay? Like, they've never been like this super profitable industry where everybody gets super fucking rich, okay? Like, that's not the situation. And so, you know, now you have, you know, these companies being bought out by these larger entities like Warner Brothers and like Disney. In this corporate environment, like, the creativity is really stifled. You know, there's a lot of like creative stifling going on. It's not as pure as it once was. And I feel like it's a little too corporatized to where we can't ever have comics the way they were. Here's the thing. I have fallen deeply in love with a lot of the characters on the X-Men team, okay? I care about them. I feel like I'm a part of their family. They've had so much history. We've been through so much together. I've like grown up with them. It's a very special and unique fictional relationship that you have. It's like, and I think of it in terms of a relationship. Scott and Jean, like, I've been with them. Like, I've seen what's happened. I saw when she died and he was having an affair, and then like they got married that one time, and then they went back in time on their honeymoon, and it was just like, it's all this history, you know? I've shared all this history with them. And a big reason why I love the X-Men and why they're such superstars is because you had this writer, Chris Claremont, who came on in 1975, helped to reinvent them, and he was essentially writing the core X-Men titles for like almost 20 years, okay? You had one guy. The Phoenix Saga, which is one of the greatest X-Men tales ever told, takes place over 4 years of issues. Like, it's this slow burn, you know, and it builds upon itself. And it's just like, when you finally get to the Dark Phoenix Saga and like things come to a head, it's like so fucking satisfying. It's just like, you're just so fucking invested, all right? You're like in this shit. And that's what made it so magical and so special. And in today's corporate climate, something like the Dark Phoenix Saga would never be possible. and you can't have these committed long-term relationships anymore. I just don't think that someone like Chris Claremont would be able to survive there and be over this title for this long and have this much reign over these characters and be left alone to do what he needs to do. The problem with the Big Two's business model today is that it favors short-term profits over everything else, including the quality of the storytelling being told. And favoring short-term profits over long-term storytelling is going to drive your core readership away and ruin what's special about what you're fucking doing. Like, god damn it! You have a long-form fictional continuity that nobody else has. Like, this is insane. Like, as somebody who loves stories, that's what's so special about the Big Two, is like how fucking long-term these characters have been going and how rich and interesting their lives are, and like,
Very good.
I don't get it. Why is Marvel trying to force diversity on me with all this gender swapping and race flopping? I didn't ask for it.
Here's my theory. Traditionally, a lot of the characters within the Big Two fictional continuities have been white dudes, all right? But recently, within the past 10 years, these fictional universes have blown up, okay? They're not just comic books anymore. They're movie franchises that make billions of dollars all over the world, all right? They now have a global audience, all right? These fictional universes that used to have these very niche audiences just within the United States have become a huge juggernaut money-making thing, okay? Like, it's not just for comic book readers anymore. Like, they have surpassed that. And so you have Disney, they see what's going on, and they have pressure to represent this global audience. They want to reflect this global audience within this fictional universe. The pressure to represent all types is more important to Disney than ever, because you want to have as many people as possible relating to these characters and falling in love with them so you can make money off of them for years to come, okay?
Yes, and I think also comics have traditionally underrepresented different types of human beings in the past. Do you agree?
Yes, but it's only because at the time they were reflecting their audience. They were reflecting the type of people who were mainly buying their product. So now that this product has become much bigger, you know, you gotta represent more. You know, you gotta get them all in there. It's more profitable. But honestly, I mean, my fucking team, the X-Men, has always been diverse, okay? Like, they have always had people of all shapes, colors, sizes, creeds, sexualities. Like, they've always been doing it. Since, like, 1975, the X-Men have been diverse. And there are other factors, too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. Again, it's a complex problem. But I think that this is really, I mean, money, you know, if you look at companies, money is, like, the bottom line is, like, what they really care about. And I feel like this is the real reason why you're seeing this huge push. And here's the thing, because this continuity has been going on for so long, I feel like personally a lot of these characters are kind of tapped out. Like, I don't know where you go with Peter Parker from here, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've done a lot of things with him at this point. So you kind of do need these new characters with new experiences and new situations that are, you know, so you can explore new things. And another factor people may not be taking into account is that recently both Image and DC have dropped their prices from $3.99 an issue to $2.99 an issue. Marvel stated that they couldn't drop their prices, so there's all these other comics you can buy for way cheaper. Not to mention the fact that DC just rebooted again with their Rebirth, and every time someone reboots, they take up the lion's share of the market because everyone's like, oh, what's going on? And then you have this flood of people coming in, but then it eventually evens out.
You can't stop reading comic books. You're Comic Book Girl 19. It'll ruin us.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not going to read comics. I'm just saying that I feel like what was special about the Marvel Comics continuity no longer is going to flourish in this corporate environment. And so I must kind of accept the truth that it's over for me and move on to greener pastures, like Image, like Humanoids. You know, there's lots of other publishers. So how about I just go hang out in the Yodoverse for a while, you know? Go do that.
Your hair, it changed again. What? What?
Yeah, it's called a soft reboot, okay? Do you see how annoying it is, you know? If you're in the middle of a story and then it just, slightly different now? It's jarring.
You just got back from the salon.
Well, this just proves that comic books are over. The medium's all dried up, and all the writers are out of ideas.
The writers are definitely not out of ideas, okay? That's not a thing that's going on. And, right now there may be a sales slump going on. Right now there may be some fucked up business practices with short-term thinking that's kind of like ruining the whole deal. But that doesn't mean it's going to be like this forever. Comics have definitely survived some other tough times in the past. So, it's going to evolve and change. I don't know if comics are ever going to be what they were, but these characters, I believe, are strong enough to continue going on. I just don't know exactly what that's going to look like.
Beans has a dark secret, too.
No, Beans, what's your secret?
I'm really a dog.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love you no matter what. I don't like dogs, though.
You said you hate dogs. We're getting rid of Beans now.
No. This pupper can stay. Whatever you want to be, Beans. I support you. Fine. Thanks. I'm a dog now. And even though I may be disappointed in the Marvel fictional universe, I'm always excited about Dune. This is one of my favorite fictional universes, and I can't wait to share it with you this summer over 12 weeks. We're gonna read Dune together. We're gonna talk about it on Twitch live once a week, okay? It's gonna be fucking awesome. Dune Club is happening. You can order a Dune box from my Big Cartel site. The pre-sale goes till the end of the month. After that, we're gonna have to cut it off because then we gotta ship them all out. It's a whole thing. But within the Dune box, you get a signed copy of Frank Herbert's Dune. This copy is the one that you need to have, okay? Because there's no chapter numbers. It's like, we gotta go by page numbers. It's a whole thing. And you're also gonna get a sweet bookmark. It's gonna have a little tassel that you can wear as a necklace or as a bracelet, whatever. You can get creative with it. And there's also an Atreides lapel Dune pin, so everyone will know that you're on the Atreides team.
Where's my necklace?
Well, you don't have a neck. So it's hard. It's a little harder. And Space Brain, he didn't have a neck either, so both of you guys can't really... we could maybe, put the pin on you and, tap it in with a hammer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Comic Book Girl, are you excited for all the people that have joined Dune Club so far?
I'm so fucking pumped, and I really am overwhelmed. Every day I'm, super overwhelmed when I think about it, because, this is a real book, okay? I'm asking for a real fucking commitment, and I know what I'm asking for, okay? Today, in this fucking climate, you have all these assholes always saying, oh, people don't have an attention span past 3 to 5 minutes, don't make a video past that. And, I say fuck that, okay? I don't think that that's real. I think that there's a lot of people out there that want to be challenged, that they want to be intellectually challenged by their entertainment, and I think Dune is a great way to fucking get some challenge, right? Because this shit is this is hardcore. I'm not even kidding you. You're gonna be a fucking smarter, faster, better human being after you fucking read this shit, because it's fucking mind-blowing, okay? And so, I'm stoked. I'm stoked that so many people are hyped. You guys are getting on the Dune hype train with me. This is a terrible business idea, starting a book club, I would never, what a terrible business idea. But it worked for me, so it's working. It's fucking amazing. 2017, I knew this was gonna be a lucky year. Don't forget, if you want to get your Dune box with your sweet fucking pin and crazy necklace, the pre-sale on the Dune box ends at the end of this month, so get on that Dune hype train!